Well, good morning everybody. My name is Dr. JD Swanson. Welcome to 15 Minutes of Thought. Today what we're going to be going through is the fourth of five Kihon Ippon Kumite's that Kanazawa sensei used to do as part of his SKI syllabus. And I want to give you my interpretation of both how this one here leads into Jiyu Kumite or Jiyu Ippon Kumite. So there's that natural transition as we move from one to the other. So let's get started. Hey, very good. So what you want to do to start off with is let's warm up, right? Let's warm up with the first three. So if you recall, the very first one was stepping back, making agyuke gyatsuki. So it's just 1, 2. Just nice and relaxed, feeling that kind of action. The second one, rolled out, 45 degrees, making kokutsudachi tatte shuto. So here, pushing out, 1, then 2, out. Like so. The third one, rocked out on a 45-degree angle to the other side, making heizokudachi agyuke. Then yoko geri kiage, yoko enpiuchi into kibadachi. Very good. So what I would like you to do is go through those three, practice them up, make sure they're there. If you're looking for points, there should have been pow, there should have been liners going through the top, so you can click on and go directly to those videos. So with that, give it a go, then come back. Excellent. So the fourth one here is a little bit trickier. And there's multiple ways to do it. I'm going to show you the way and some points that were made very clear to me to think about, but then I'll sort of expand on it a little bit to other interpretations I've seen and heard with it. So the first one, what you do is you step back with Jodan SKIF, hands open, just like so. So it's here. 1. Then from here, what was always pointed out to me was that this front foot wasn't allowed to move. The thing is that your opponent's super duper tight to you. And so the way that at least my instructor really emphasized this to me was load high and tight to the back, making room for that for a mawashigiri that's going to follow, but ensuring that the technique is loaded high and tight to the back, not lifting it up in this sort of action. So from here, what we're going to do is we're going to make mawashigiri, super tight, turn it, and then come around to Zenkutsudachi Yoko Ushiro Empi. Okay, coming around, basically making this shape. So once again, as you make this, you make the initial block, you make the kick nice and tight, come up to the front like so, then slide back. This is the action that you want. So it's a feeling of kicking, sort of kicking them on the way around and circling right round. Again, when I was taught to do this, I was told that I wasn't allowed to move my front foot, that I must maintain it right here, lift, and then just kick super tight, bringing this round like so. Reality, of course, is that you can, of course, as you go, shift this foot and make the kick to be able to make the drop. That can be a little bit easier. So it's really up to you. The nice thing is, and we'll talk about the difference of those two kicks in a second, but from here, just for now, try it my way. Come back, make the jujuke, hold the foot here, mawashigiri, bring it round, bring the knee right up, nice, high and tight to the front, then slide this leg back, couple it with the elbow to come down. So you want this kind of action, the slide and the elbow to work together in a little bit of a sliding action to make that hip. And if you notice on the last, you notice my foot, it shifts about a hip width, about my foot distance. Okay, so without further ado, just try that and then we'll work on some details from there. Excellent. So what about the two kicks? Why the foot move and why not? Well, if you don't move the foot, what it forces you to do is it forces you into a really tight mawashigiri. And the only way that you can get that round to the partner who's right there is by lifting high and tight to the back. I have to lift here and then I have to make it super short. Make it an incredibly short, tight mawashigiri. It can't be sort of the more classical hip, boom, boom, round. Right? I just simply don't have the room. But JD, that's not how it can be done. It almost must be that way. No, it doesn't. If you look at other martial arts, like Ishinryu, for example, they use very tight, short, snappy, wham kind of maigiris, as well as us using the much longer distance. So you can shorten that distance by a tight boom. It's the same thing with moashigiri. You can shorten that distance by loading tight and just making the hip action slightly shorter. So you can use that. Now, if you're vehemently opposed to that, cool with me, I will cry myself to sleep into my pillow. Not really, right? But what you can do from here is you can shift this foot as you just before you do the load to give yourself the room that you want for that moashigiri. Either way, the point is that you don't use it, you make the snap, but continue the momentum of the hip all the way around. So allow your leg to make this way, to make the kick, turn, and push. Allow it to make that full, nice, clean action. So with that, try both versions. Try the hold the leg in place, load high and tight, almost like a little cramped moashigiri. Here, cramped and up, right? Versus the longer action of here step, moashi, then ball. Okay, try both, give it a go, then come back. Excellent. So the last thing, of course, is what do you do with your hands? How do they link through? For me, if I start out kind of with my hand with looking to my back, I make the block, I make the tight moashigiri, I load this way. So I bring my hands out and under. The key thing is really extending this left hand. Allow this to extend out, which allows me to push and the twist of the hand as I sync that with my slide. And again, I want that sort of push, but I want this part, the connection part, happening as I make the grab of my feet. So it happens at the end of the slide. This is still moving even after my feet are going. So I want it all sort of a big expansive, almost like a bit of rubber goo. One, boom, one, boom, one. That feeling. Okay, so give that a go. Work on those two pieces, short kick versus long kick, if you haven't already, and then work on the timing of that drop of the elbow with the stance. Excellent. So one other variation I have seen, and something that makes a little bit more practical sense, is why do the moashigiri in general? Why not just cut it straight through? I never did it this way, but someone with Kanazawa sensei. But one of my friends, Dr. Matt Payne, he did it this way with Kanazawa sensei, or at least he alluded to seeing it that way. So what you can think about is instead of it being sort of this big, sort of loopy moashigiri, why not just make it a straight cutting kick through? So cutting kick, moashi means coming round. Cutting kick, kirigiri, just cuts it sort of halfway between maigiri that comes straight to the front and moashigiri that comes round. It comes on this angle and slides up and then sort of cuts on the angle this way. So the idea that you can think about this is this idea of here, just cut them on the way around and hit. So it creates this smoother action. It creates this idea of almost just stepping and hitting, right? The straight, simple rotation and in. Except you hit them on the way. So we're here, cut it and round. And when you feel, it makes a more natural action, naturalizes this entire action. It makes it, smooths it out, if you like, from making sort of it now can just be this sort of wham around and through. So you can play with that. I encourage you to go slowly and just play with that particular action. Give it a go. Excellent. So you've given that a go. So when we think about this, how does this now relate? Why do something as intricate as this to then relate it to Jiyu Ippon or Jiyu Kumite? Well, let's look at the ones that we have so far. Agyuke was this idea of driving back, block, then punch in, or forward, this forward sort of smooth action. The second one, dropping out to the side, is simply the idea of cutting that angle and bang. The next one was cutting out on the other angle. So from here, right, thinking about the idea of here, oh, boom, or here, boom, or whatever, right? This third one now is saying go straight through them. Use this mysterious angle of about 15 degrees to get past them. So you might do that either, if we take both of our techniques into account, either by just staying here, kicking them on the way, and then taking it to the side, hence the kirigiri, because it gives you that momentum in this direction. Attacks coming in, legs are longer, wham, then continue, right? Or wham and continue, right? This kind of feeling. Or if you do the foot shift first, having the idea of just simply sliding past. Have the idea of sliding forward onto that technique and driving in with whatever technique you want. So what we've got now is we've got quite a really neat array of footwork. We've got back and forward, we've got cutting the angle to this side, we've got shifting to this side, and now we have the idea of shifting forward to their closed side. All of these within a single Kihon Ippon Kumite. We've learned the basics, the mechanics of it. You see, the part that's important is not what we're doing with our arms, but rather the way that we're driving our body center. And this is what gives us the idea that allows us to shift. Okay, so we have in our arsenal now, just from doing the first 4 basic Kihon Ippon Kumites, we have understanding of shifting our body weight back, going to the open side, going to the closed side and coming back, and then finally getting into what actually matters, cutting across their closed side and cutting forward into them, which we do in pretty much every kata. So with that, I hope you have an awesome day. Look forward to seeing you again soon. Take care, and I'll see you later. Hey, wuss. Thank you so much.